From Nigeria, through Africa, Asia, Arab, any continent you can think of, we are always bringing you news directly from the station, Idea Television. I am Jacob Deborah, and this is your newspaper review on Idea Television. And as the saying goes, knowledge is power. And the key to knowledge is information. And that's why news like this would come your way. Let's dive into the first newspaper front page. And the first newspaper I'll be looking at is the Punch newspaper front page, where we see that health sector crisis persists despite 5.4 trillion World Bank loan. We've seen that the World Bank has approved a total $3.53 billion in health-related loans to Nigeria over the past 9 years. And however, the medical and dental consultants, as well as the Association of Nigeria and the Association of the Resident Doctors, as well as the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, has come out to argue that despite the substantial fund committed to healthcare infrastructure in Nigeria, the loan from the World Bank is yielding no visible results. According to the industry, the operators of the country still has a poor state of health infrastructure that does not reflect a huge amount of loan that has been collected from the global financial firm. We've seen that the National Association of Nigerian Doctors, as well as midwives and nurses, have come out to say that the loan that have been collected on behalf of Nigerian health sector from the World Bank has yielded no substantial results in Nigerian health sector. We can still walk into hospitals and see that the infrastructures are still lacking and people are still dying based on the fact that the infrastructure is not good enough to actually, or fit enough to actually tackle some diseases as well as illness that comes into the hospital. And now it raises a question and raises the eyebrow of people asking, where is the money going into? The money allocated to the health sector that was borrowed from the World Bank, where is it going into? We want to know what the money is being used for. We want to know what the money went into for, because we cannot see results yielding from the health sector of Nigeria. Moving to other headlines, we also see in that same newspaper that court orders FG and to close the case on Doski decade-old trial. And to other headlines, we see that the NBA as well as others condemn the Ibom Air over female passenger assault. Also, we see police probe qualms one over Abuja airport misconduct. And in page 4 and 3, we see that 30,000 car race bet leaves 5 dead in Ogun State. Above that, you can see that EFCC is targeting David Mark after the Tambuwal Iholos outbreak by ADC. We also see that the federal government drops the 60 billion naira fraud charges against the ex-Amcon MD in page 10. Moving to the next newspaper front page, we'll be looking at the Nation newspaper front page, where we see that Tambuwal EFCC hits back at ADC over unprovoked attack. Beside it, we see that illegal 176 estates, diaspora deporters are demanding refund in page 4. We also see the big headline that Amechi says how Fayemi and I began opposition coalition. We stated it in Naziru Dausra House, and this demands lack of basics, says the ex-Ekiti governor. We also see why I am supporting Tinubu by Soludo. And the next newspaper front page we'll be looking at is the Vanguard newspaper, where we see that Dangote refinery reduces loading price of petrol to 820 per litre in page 19. And in page 9, we see that 2027, I won't deny Tinubu, we have been friends for over 22 years, Soludo comes out to say. We also see in page 6 that 16 inanimate attack warders, Bridges, Kefi's prison, as well as 7 rearrested, even after there was a prison break in the state of Kefi. We also see the big headline that Ibom Air fracased, comfort begins life at Kirikiri MBA waits in. And In page 8, NEMA raises alarm over mental health crisis among doctors. We also see that SWAL leads protest in NYSC headquarters over unjust treatment of COP members in page 9. And in page 10, we see that VP Shetima to investors, it's time to invest in Nigeria, in page 10. And in page 19, we see that NSDC seals deal with 4 new operators to produce 4,000 MT of sugar annually. And if you look at the other big headline, we see that Atiku ADC condemns the Tambuwal's arrest and says EFCC now political tool for stopping and stalking over opposition probes. In page 9 of that newspaper. The next newspaper front page we'll be looking at is the Daily Trust newspaper front page, where we see that Taraba goes spiritual over deputy illness. Beside it, we see that Tinubu hails hearty, Soludo says. Soludo says. We also see beside it that how 71-year-old man died trying to escape tanker explosion. And the big headline, Rivers Coil build mall on Abuja site. Now on that particular story, we see that a Port Harcourt-based company, Hypercity Retail Limited, is building a shopping mall on Abuja plot of land meant for memorial and honor of the construction workers as well as hawkers killed in the year 2008. Building collapsed at the site. Now, the land is located at Utako district of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, and had its original allocation titled revoked by the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Aliyu Mudibo Umar, to serve as the determinant of the property developers for violating building regulation. The tragedy occurred in 2008. I don't know why I keep repeating 2008. When a 4-story building under construction on the plot 230 and adjoining the plot Utako Abuja collapsed on hawkers as well as people who were working on that particular building, and at least 6 people lost their life, including construction workers, hawkers who were at the site, and dozens were injured. The victims were mainly laborers and traders working by the site that time. And the land is originally meant to become a memorial honor for those who died there. Over the years, it changed hands multiple times. Before the current development, it was assigned to Expose Nigerian Limited and earlier to Island Service and also Supply Limited, ISSL, as well as a businessman from Yobe State. But the current construction of the shopping mall is being carried out by Hypercity Retail Limited, a Port Harcourt-based company with Julius Berger as the contractor. Legally speaking, the senior FCT land official confirmed the plot was recently relocated to the commercial purposes, but reports did not name the exact recipient in official name or linking it, but they linked it, to Hypercity Retail Limited. So while the relocation is legal and precise data and formal details are being transacted without the public notice, a company based Rivers State now owns that particular land. Even if it's legally relocated, ethically, this raises serious questions about the respect of human life and historical memory and accountability, as well as memories that serves to remind us of our past mistakes as well as strategies, replacing them with commercial projects that is the recognition. This story is about happening that went on in 2008 on that same land. There was a construction being made, and during that construction the whole building collapsed, and after the collapsing of that building, killing lives as well as injuring some people, the government decided to leave that land as a memorial to the lives lost and decided not to build on that particular land. But now we've seen that ownership has been passed from one person to another and has particularly landed on this River State company that is about presently building a mall on that particular land. Now it raises eyebrows and bringing concerns of citizens that really this was a land that was supposed to actually honor the memory of people who lost their lives due to some circumstances that could be avoided but were not avoided. And now we're looking at more making money than keeping memory. And the question on our lips and the question from the citizen as well as me, as well as Idea TV, is do we look at memory or we look for money? Do we try to keep our trust in the government when they say they will do a thing and do not carry it out? Do we keep keeping our trust in them when they say a thing and do not follow by? Well, we'll get to know. The next newspaper front page we'll be looking at is the Nation newspaper, where we see, the last newspaper front page we'll be looking at is the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, where we see NSA to unfold fresh strategies to end terrorism. We also see beside it that Tinubu is my friend for 22 years. I have no apologies for supporting him. Soludo has come out to say. We also see the big headline that NBA Labour Party order flay treatment of female passenger. We also see the NSC, NAPTIP, MMS move to curb human trafficking through waterway. Page 3 of that newspaper. And in page 7, we see that NSDC's operator seals landmark agreement targeting 4,000 MT sugar production annually. And in health, fast walking key to longevity cuts mortality risk by 20%. Study has come out to prove. And the next big headline, we see that Tambuwal released on bail as EFCC counters ADC and PDP in page 5. The last news we'll be taking for today is on our tech news, where we see the company of CoreWave has come out to make a new improvement. CoreWave revenue beats estimate on AI boom, but share falls on bigger loss. Now, cloud computing firm CoreWave beats Wall Street expectation with $1.21 billion in second quarter revenue, powered by the surging demand for artificial intelligence service and NVIDIA-backed chips. The company blocked swelled over to $30 billion, up from $25.9 billion in just 3 months earlier. And its CEO, Michael Interator, hailed the unprecedented demand, which he warned that it was securing sufficient power capacity and it remains the biggest challenge. Despite raising the full-year revenue forecast as high as $5.35 billion, shares sinks 10% after hours as net losses widens to $290.5 million, far exceeding the $190.60 million analysts had already predicted before. Operating expenses are nearly crippled by $1.19 billion, with the company scaling rapidly to meet contracts with hyperscalers and AI giants such as OpenAI, as well as others. It's planned that $9 billion and all stock will take over crypto, miner, and core scientific set to secure one more consent. This need for power demand is cost, as well as power supply is a big bottleneck. They need enormous amounts to forge electricity for that AI. Investors are worried because the cost is high and few bigger customers might leave the company due to the struggle. It's like a bakery suddenly selling 10 times more bread and building more ovens as well as hiring more bakers, but are earning and losing more that they are putting into the bakery. So the CoreWaves has raised an alarm that they are not earning as it's supposed to be due to the fact that they need more electricity on their wave to actually power the AI companies that they actually have. The next tech news we'll be looking at is AI setup plausibility to make bold 35.5 billion bid for Google Chrome browser. In a move that stunned Silicon Valley, 3 years old setup Proximity AI has made an unsolicited $34.5 billion all-cash offer to Google Chrome browser, aiming to gain access to its more than 3 billion users and surge the AI search race, led by the CEO Avid Sovani. Now we also see that the bold bid is more than double Proximity of 14 billion of valuation and comes amid the growing competition of OpenAI, Yahoo, and other eyeing Chrome strategy values. Analysts, however, doubt that Google will sell, warning a draw out of Lego battle that could stretch the Supreme Court, especially in Chrome, at the heart of its AI-driven search ambition. The story is wild because essentially the setup worth 14 billion trying to buy Google. These particular people are trying to buy Google Chrome app, and buying it is bringing a big question to other people who are actually having this in mind to also go into that business. And they didn't come out to make that arrangement with Google, but they came out to just put up a price that they want to use to buy this particular Google app, which is popularly known as Chrome. And Proximity AI, which makes AI-powered search assistant, is owned by Comet. Wants Chrome 3+ billion users. They want to have the 3+ billion users that are home. This is timing because Google is under US antitrust pressure, and the Justice Department wants to possibly spin off Chrome as remedy for having an illegal monopoly in search. But thundering mystery is that Proximity says that multiple funds would finance the deal and haven't named any at all. It is important because $34.5 billion cash is massive to leap a 3-year-old company that has only raised $1 billion so far. Other interested buyers like OpenAI, Yahoo, Apollo Global Management have also been linked to this potential build. And even if the judge orders Chrome to be sold, Google will likely appeal for years to delay and forced sale. In short, the Proximity is making noise and positioning itself as a bold AI challenger and putting pressure on the regulator of Google to public eye, as well as possibly might want them to sell this Chrome. But let's see what happens at the ending. The news will continue as we would bring you more headlines concerning this particular news. So we've come to the newspaper review headlines, and we'll be looking at all the newspaper we looked at today. We looked at the Vanguard newspaper front page, where we saw that the Tigress gets 100K each. Sorry, that's the wrong newspaper. Where we saw that Ibom Air fracas, comfort begins life at Kirikiri MBA waits in. We also saw in the Daily Trust newspaper that Rivers Koi build mall on Abuja site. And in the Tribune newspaper, we saw that MBA, Labour Party, as well as others file treatment of the female passenger on Ibom Air. And the next newspaper we looked at was our tech news, where we saw that the company CallWaves, the US-based cloud company, is providing a specialized high performance. And the last news we looked at was on the story of our AI setup Proximity making bid for 34.5 billion bid on Google Chrome browser. And that's the end for your newspaper review on Idea Television today. And like I would always say, do stay informed, do stay safe, and stay with us and stay glued to your screen even as we bring you more innovation and innovative programs after this. I am Jacobs Deborah.